opened again. Um, Welcome. So, what I want to talk a little bit about today is this idea of encountering ourselves. So, this comes from what I've been learning through Red School on my mentality leadership training. And it very much talks to the first practice of authentic relating as well, the practice of welcoming everything. And what I'm really coming to more deeply understand about these practices is this sense of meeting myself exactly where I am. And what I love about the word to encounter myself is that there's a sense of almost being surprised, that there's space for there to be things that I don't know about myself in that moment. For me, it invites this sense of curiosity and the possibility that I don't know everything that is going on for me in a particular moment. And I found this like such useful medicine recently, in this place of wanting things to be different. A sense of like resisting my own experience. So in Red School, we've had over the last 6 weeks of this first module, doing kind of regular exercises on the live group calls, and I've had a couple of really challenging experiences where, and challenging mostly because the story that I had was like, I'm not doing this right. I'm not having the experience that I should be having. You know, it's not profound. I'm not seeing what I should be seeing in this visioning exercise or whatever it happens to be. And what I'm learning is, rather than throwing my teddies out the cot and kind of getting even like more resistance, you know, this isn't working, and actually what happens to me is then the tears come because I assume I'm not doing it right. I must be broken. All of that kind of thought process starts to kick in. Is instead I'm tuning into like what is happening, even if it's the just simply paying attention to the frustration and the disappointment and the upset. You know, paying attention to the stories, paying attention to where the tension is living in my body in those moments where I'm doing the tension in my body. For that to be enough, that is the experience. That is the experience that I'm having, and regardless of what I think it should be, this is my reality right now. And as soon as I've started to do that, something starts to soften in me, and doesn't make the emotions any easier to be with. Like, they still feel horrible. But I think what it's allowing me to do is to start to take that step back, and rather than be caught up in the maelstrom of those emotions, being able to take a step back and starting to see what's driving them, like where these stories come from. Starting to see the kind of the habit and the pattern of this way of being. I'm going to pause for a second. Oh, my mind's gone a little bit blank. Yeah, this idea of encountering ourselves exactly as we are. So for me, when I'm in this place of encountering myself, nothing's broken. Nothing has to be fixed. I'm simply orientating towards my reality and noticing what's there. Because when I do that, I'm actually equipping myself to then be able to make a choice. It's really hard to respond to the world, respond to myself, if I don't actually know what's going on. If all I'm doing is resisting my emotions and resisting the experience and trying to push it away and turn away from it, I can't actually see what's going on. And so this power of encountering invites us into a place of agency, So often, the way I've always seen these kind of models is that agency comes first. Yeah, I do something and then something happens. So it's like the yang and then the yin. And what I keep relearning at the moment is actually it's the other way around. That this idea of encounter, allowing the yin, like the deep listening, comes first, and then that inspires action. That my agency comes from this place of deep listening and understanding, because then I know what to do. Well, and it comes. It's an embodied knowing. It's not a mental, intellectual kind of knowing. I I feel the places where I can take action, and it might not be very much. It might not be very much action at all. Um, I'm reminded of Stephen Covey and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about the circle of influence and the circle of control, and how much time we spend in our lives trying to control the uncontrollable. And for me, this power of encounter, of welcoming everything, is the pathway back into agency and influence. I might not be able to control things, but when I do encounter myself, I can start to see the places where I can take action. So yeah, I think that's everything that I want to say today. I'm being mobbed by kittens. So with that, yeah, I'd love to hear how this lands with you. What does it bring up to you? For you, do you have questions? You have your own experience of these times where you've been able to allow your experience to be and have found yourself with more agency or knowing as a result. So yeah, thank you so much for being with me, and I'll see you soon.